It takes some people years to figure out their life's calling. 40 years ago, our next guest learned early on that she enjoyed making art. Jayne Crowley is a stained glass artist and joins us now on Style. Nice to have you here, Jayne.
Thank you for having me.
What pretty work you brought with you.
Thank you.
So I gotta ask you, I know you had a chemistry background. How did you get into stained glass?
I worked in chemistry for a couple of years and realized I didn't like being in a lab and kept trying some different things and came to glass, and that was it.
What kind of, what's so appealing about stained glass to you?
I think one of the most fascinating things about it is that as a medium, it's always changing. You know, it changes with the light during the course of a day. It changes compared to what color it's next to. The intensity of the colors will change.
Sure.
So, and I can actually change the shape of the glass via heat.
Sure. We're actually looking at some of your works of art there. It's very impressive stuff.
Thank you.
And it's not easy. Let me tell you, I did stained glass in high school in a crafts class, and I burned myself, and there was glass shards. It just wasn't easy. So I give you a lot of credit.
Those are all hazards of the trade.
Sure. So you brought some tools here and some examples.
I did.
Let's talk about the tools. What is it that you use? I know this stuff actually melts, right?
That does melt. That's solder. That is your last, pretty much your last step. Your first step actually starts with designing a piece and then choosing the glass that you want.
And that's kind of like what you have there, a plan more or less is what you need.
This is a plan. This was a plan that this past weekend I had a workshop and students that had never cut glass actually completed it and had a finished piece after the 2 days. So it was fun. This is your glass cutter.
Okay.
There's 2 pairs of pliers that you use. One is called a grozing plier, and these are called running pliers. Your soldering iron and your copper foil, which you wrap around each piece so that allows the solder to adhere to the piece.
Ah, I see. Well, that's an important step, right?
That is an important step.
And you kind of do all different creations. I know you make jewelry, and there's some bigger projects here.
And basically, I make windows for private homes. I do some church restorations, but my main business is
Look how
private
pretty
commissions.
that is.
Thank you.
All right, Jayne, you're going to tell me how to cut some glass here. Let's see if it's like riding a bike. How do we get started?
This is your glass cutter.
Okay.
You hold it like a pencil, and the one thing that you have to do is go from one end of the piece of glass all the way through to the other end.
Now, it's not exactly a straight line. Does that matter?
I didn't. Well,
you didn't want a straight line.
I didn't try to do a straight line. And then you've got what are called running pliers. Put that right on your square line. I see that you're cowering away.
I got a little nervous, Jim, not gonna lie. But... So that's that, huh?
That's it.
Well, we'll give it a shot here. I know I don't really have much of a pattern, but you started from the bottom here, right?
You start from the bottom and go from one end all the way through to the other end.
Okay.
You got it going. Now, I would start from the other side because it sounded like you might not have started right at the beginning.
All right, and then you just kind of...
Right on the line.
And I apply a little pressure. Ooh.
There you go.
There we go. Wow.
So it wasn't as hard as it was in high school.
Well, it came back to me. All right. Jayne, talk to me about these. They're so pretty.
These are garden stakes. These are done with fusing of glass where you put it in the kiln.
Okay.
You cut 2 pieces of glass because the property of glass is that it wants to be 1/4 of an inch thick. So you're going to start with 1/4 of an inch thick so that it won't distort in the kiln.
Got it.
And then you add whatever you want, colors.
Little faces on them.
Some of them
like
have
that.
little faces or little flower type designs on them.
Very good.
And then you bring them up to 1475 degrees in the kiln. So.
All right. Well, let me ask you, where could we find more information about your workshops and all of your creations?
I have a studio in Bramford,
Okay.
JC Art Glass Designs on North Harbor Street in Bramford, and my website is jcglassworks.com.
All right, we'll look for you there. Thanks so much for coming here, and thanks
Thank
for the
you.
lesson.
Thanks for having me. Maybe we'll get you doing it again.
I'll have to give it a shot. Stay with us. There's going to be plenty more Connecticut Style after the break. We'll be right back.